Good morning, everybody. My name's Dale Robbins, along with my co-host, Rich Violette, and we are excited again to have Associate Head Coach E.J. Arnold in the studios of MCTV for this Week 8 of Northwood Replay. It's great to have you along this morning. We are coming off a loss up at Big Rapids to Ferris State University. The Warriors, the #2 team in the country, played a good play game on Saturday. And Coach, we had you here a week ago, and this is a new space for you, and I just wanted to say right now, you owned it. It was awesome. So thanks for being here with us last week. And it's great to have you back again this week. And maybe for some of our viewers and some of those Northwood Timberwolves fans that go, well, where the heck is Coach Haynes? Coach Haynes is he's got another doctor's appointment today.
Yep.
He is being led by some the medical industry to kind of watch what he's doing, see how he's going about some things. So he is progressing through what ends up being, he's not where he wants to be, and that's the challenge. He wants to be on the sideline with you guys, but at this point, Coach Haynes is doing well, and we pass along our well wishes and wish for him and our thoughts and prayers that he continues to get the answers he seeks.
Absolutely. He's doing great. We talk every day, whether it's via text or just on the phone and stuff like that, and he's doing very well. He's frustrated.
Sure.
He's just seeking for some answers and everything, but he knows that his health is ultimately the most important thing, and so when he finds some answers, he'll be back, and the goal is to have him back on Saturday and everything. But our players have done a great job of just staying the course and praying for him and everything, and so has our coaching staff. Our coaching staff has really stepped up to a man to make sure that things go smoothly with Coach Haynes' absence.
Northwood mentality, next
Absolutely.
man up, and
Yes,
you're
sir.
it. And they left you with not much attire on. Your dad was gone on Saturday up in Big Rapids. Len's at home listening on the radio. You're it, Coach.
Yeah.
And how was that, living your dream?
Yeah, flying solo on the maiden voyage and everything. But no, again, the coaching staff stepped up, did a brilliant job, and oddly enough, I was out on the field pregame at about 11:30. I usually just go and walk the field, and here comes Coach Anise, the head coach of Ferris State,
Right.
and we know each other pretty well. And he asked the same things. He knew about Leonard's health, and so we talked about that. And then he asked about my dad, and I told him he was in Miami for a national title reunion, and he just kind of giggled like, "Well, where's your support staff?" But Coach Anise actually had a lot of great words of encouragement for me with what I was going through. I was obviously nervous. So.
And I'll tell you, we got to see Coach Anise's post-game conference,
Yeah.
and he really
Gracious.
He was very gracious, and he threw the kind words out for Coach Haynes, and said how great of a man he is, and he knows him personally. And
Absolutely.
so that was really good of Tony.
And you know what's interesting, and I don't know that it exists in every league, but the GLIAC, for as competitive as it is, for as nationally recognized as it is, still is a small family of clubs that have a history of games against each other. The friendships and colleague roles that you guys have had over the years, I mean, you're a dozen years into the GLIAC. There are some lifelong commitments there that coaching and coaching staff and players, even on the opposition team, isn't that a part of the process that brings you to the table?
That's a huge part of it, yeah. And I mean, we go into that again this week playing Wayne State with Coach Winters. He's been there, I think, for 14 or 15 years,
Correct.
and so he reached out on Sunday about Coach Haynes and everything. And Zach Riedma, our offensive coordinator, was on the Wayne State staff at one time. Antoine Robinson, our safeties coach, played at Wayne State, was on their staff. So it's all interconnected,
Sure.
and we all are tight, and we all have a tremendous amount of respect for one another because we know how competitive the conference is each and every week. So
Sure.
It's a great brotherhood that we as coaches have in the conference.
Well, and there's strength in those numbers, and everybody's thoughts and prayers are with Coach Haynes and all that goes with that. And let's move to Saturday, and we won't spend long there, Coach. I was actually, we went in at the half down 11 points. It was 21-10. What I noticed is Ferris State scores 44. They average 41. So we kept them on paper there. Also, I noticed that Ferris is the conference leader in 13 different categories, or tied for amongst the NCAA rankings. We kept them within a range. Their yardage, their passing, they were all within margin what Coach Anise puts on the field every week. But I really noticed, and I thought Rich and I knock on Formica. We talked about we had not been giving up many big plays this year in 2019. All of a sudden, they had 3, 1 to end the first half and 2 in the second half, that were less than 90-second possessions. Some of them just a 1-possession game.
Right.
The big play really haunted us, certainly to end the half, and then in the second half. That's a good ball game with the final coming in at 44-17.
And that was the message that I spoke to our guys after the game. The first thing I said was, listen, this is closer than 44-17.
You bet it is.
We are closer to Ferris State than 44-17. So much of the game Saturday was self-inflicted wounds, whether it's a missed chip shot field goal that Parker definitely knows he can hit, a short punt that Parker had that gave them short field, the big plays defensively. We throw 2 interceptions, one, a kid runs the wrong route, and so details like that Northwood beat Northwood a little bit.
Right,
and that's
right.
not to discredit Ferris State at all. They are a phenomenal team. Seeing them up close, they are very impressive. But at the same time, when we play our game and we play it the right way, and we have to do that on a consistent basis,
right,
we can put this thing together and we can compete with anybody.
Well, it was definitely a tale of 2 halves for sure. We played an outstanding first half, I thought.
Indeed.
We took the opening drive, went down and scored. We set the momentum early, and you're right. We can play with anybody. We're right there.
Yeah.
What's going on with officiating this year? And it's everywhere. And I know there's big screen TVs, and you can, you see it in NFL, you see it on College Game Day, you see it in our league, you see it in high school. I don't get it. What is pass interference anymore? Because some of these calls are brutal.
Yeah, it's an imperfect system. I think it always has been. I know the spotlight in the NFL and stuff is on the officiating right now, whether it's what happened in the Lions game a few weeks ago and stuff like that. We don't have, at our level, the luxury to have the replays and things of that nature. I had a nice long conversation with the refs about the pass interference call early in the first half. Tried to talk about it being an uncatchable ball and things like that. They explained it to me. They did their job to what they thought was the right way. I definitely didn't agree with it. But those are things that we also are trying to explain to our guys, that we can't rely on those things, guys. We have to make our own luck in how we do things. And there were definitely some calls that I didn't agree with. There was definitely some calls that we have to clean up on our end that were good calls and things of that nature. And I'm sure Coach Anise felt the same way. But we just have to play fundamentally sound and not leave it up to the officiating and the officials' hands.
And I agree, we do have to play through that, and I know that's the message, but it sure has affected us all year long. And in big play situations.
Rarely in our favor.
Rarely in our favor.
If it's 50-50, then I'm all right with that. But boy, oh boy.
Let me ask you, going into halftime, we're down, 21-7. And I just kind of want to get a feeling for what your mindset was. Third down on the 3-yard line, you're running the clock down to halftime. What's your mindset of whether or not I'm going to kick the field goal or go for the touchdown? And do you make that determination when it's third down and not fourth down?
I had talked
as far as the play calling.
Yeah, I talked with Coach Rietma on the headsets about that, really about 2 or 3 plays prior to, just in terms of what I was thinking. And to me, I just felt like we needed some points to give our guys some positive momentum. The last thing I wanted to do was to be down there and come away empty-handed. We had already missed, like I said, a 29-yard field goal that we were disappointed about after getting some great field position, and we had some back. So we were trying for the touchdown, obviously. We were not playing for a field goal. It didn't work out first, second, third down. But again, with that situation there, we ran it out once we didn't get the third down and just said, okay, let's run the clock out and get points on the board, go into halftime with a little bit of momentum. The last thing we want to do is come away disappointed and have the guys deflated at halftime. And then we knew we were giving the ball in second half, but to me that didn't matter. I trusted that our defense could go out and make a stop to start the second half.
Right.
Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But again, we just wanted to make sure we had some positive momentum going into
and
the
that's
half.
what I figured. That's exactly what I figured you were doing in that situation. So it's easy for us, especially me being an old coach, to second guess our armchair. You're up there, you're going, we're playing the number 2 team in the country, but I knew that's kind of what you were thinking, positive going into half.
And part of it too is just learning as a coach. We learn every week. Against Ashland a few weeks prior, we went for it on a 4th and 1. Where truth be told, we probably should have kicked the field goal at that time to go up by a certain amount. I can't remember at this time, but
put you up 4, I think.
But we should remember those situations and say, listen, that happened, and it started a snowball effect in a negative way when Ashland got that momentum, and we ended up losing the game in the 4th quarter. So I wanted to make sure that we don't relive history the same way and make sure we just got some points and gave Northwood some positive momentum going forward.
It's
Coach,
great.
even having suffered a loss on Saturday, we never have to search very high and low for highlights. Your games are exciting. Northwood plays a phenomenal brand of football. You've got such quality athletes in all three phases of the game: offense, defense, special teams. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights that we brought home from Big Rapids last Saturday.
Absolutely. You know, this play here is a great run by Jalen Lewis. It came right after actually a good catch by Alex Bakuzi, but this is the opening drive of the game. And here's just a look at Northwood not being afraid of the moment, not being afraid of the opponent, and just going out and playing. This is our goal line package here, kind of the Philly special, if you will, that you see teams doing, where we're trying to catch them off guard there and direct snap it to Jalen. He runs it in. That's something we had worked on meticulously during practice. And then this is the first defensive drive. They're trying to set up a screen, and Dante Banton, who's really starting to come to life here. So we score a touchdown.
Well.
We score and then go 3 and out. I mean, that's the way it's got to be. Tim Jackson here from Country Day makes a great poke at the ball. Would have loved to have gotten it back there. Right here you can see we're down 21-7, 5 minutes, 47 seconds left. They kick it deep to Al. He does a great job on a middle return. This is a check that we had with their formation, and does a great job getting the ball out. And then, you know, again, you talk about penalties, a little bit undisciplined there by Ferris. We get some extra yardage. We got to go down and convert there. That's where Parker misses the field goal. Here again, Rich, like you were asking, you know, we just wanted to get some points on the board here. You know, we wanted to make sure that we had some momentum going into halftime. But then we got to stop them defensively when we come back out. Dylan Zagula here, a true freshman from Belleville High School. This is great to see him get some action and come in and make an interception. So again, you're listening to a lot of young names out there that are getting some quality experience. And again, Nate Gomez here, redshirt freshman on a 4th down conversion there. To Al, we're getting experience. We just have to make it pay off here in these last 4 weeks. Again, here you can see Nate. He's very poised in the pocket. He's really coming of age.
He is, yep. We see that.
And his confidence in the air and, on
the ground too, because this is the thing. He's deceptively athletic. He's very poised. I think he's becoming a leader of our team, you know, with him and Joe splitting time right now. Again, you see Joe back in here throwing a screen to Jalen Lewis. Jalen ran extremely hard in this game. I thought he did a great job.
He was carrying defenders all game long, getting tough yards.
Exactly. He's really starting to become our workhorse back. And we've got a few great A-backs, as we call them, that are doing a good job. Here you see a pass to Jack Skirtsky, a sophomore. It's good to see him go and get some reps in the game there. Again, here Nate dropping back, throwing a great throw, hash to Noah Kenishnick, who again is coming of age with some of our injuries that we've had. He's had to step up. So, and that's a lot of young names right there. That's not a lot of seniors other than Garbarino and Alex Bakuzi in that highlight. So these young kids are getting great experience. We're not getting the win, but we are getting a lot of quality experience that is going to come into fruition
against a quality team.
Against a very good team that we did not back down from. I'll give our kids all the credit in the world. We had no fear going into it. I'm proud of how they competed, but ultimately it's not a moral victory thing. We have to do the right things the right way and not beat ourselves to be able to come out on top no matter who we're playing.
Here's the final of that one, Coach. Let's look around the GLIAC and see how last Saturday fared.
Saginaw Lindenwood, just looking at the box score, crazy game. Saginaw scored late, and then Lindenwood scored even later to win that game.
Wow.
Michigan Tech's having a great year. They've really come of age. Coach Olson's doing a good job with them. Grand Valley went up to the UP for the 2nd time this year and took care of business. And then that bottom one is the one we've been looking at. Wayne State beating Ashland in double overtime. Wayne State blocks a PAT and then goes down and scores on their first play in double OT to win it. So
and they had to block that because they missed their own.
Exactly.
Right.
So it was an interesting game to watch, and Wayne State's having a great season so far. Going to be a big challenge.
Here we are through week 7.
Yep, here we are. And Ferris State, again, that's a phenomenal football team, and they're on a collision course with Saginaw this week. That should be a good game. We don't like where we're at. There's no question about it. We're not satisfied, and we're not just playing for moral victories. We got to change that 0. That's the goal this week, is to get in the win column and get some momentum going in this last month of the season.
The overall fairly resembles where they're at in the valley,
and you can see here. I mean, it's a great conference. Davenport at 3-3, and they've been battling. Again, I talked about Michigan Tech. They're having a great bounce back year. Wayne State's doing well, and a lot of teams with above 500 records are at 500. That's the GLIAC for you. It's competitive football, and our schedule has not been easy. But again, it's not about who we play. It's about Northwood.
Well, we never fail to see that bring itself to the surface each and every Saturday. And what's interesting is one of your senior leaders on the defensive line, we're going to get a chance to talk to old number 93, as we refer to him. We're going to take you to the D side of the football, and we're going to introduce you to a young fellow who's been with us before, but he's changed. His beard's longer, and he's bigger. Josh Dabney is going to be sitting right here when we come back. Thanks for being along. Welcome back, everybody. Dale Robbins, Rich Violette, and senior defensive lineman number 93, Josh Dabney. Josh, out of Orchard Lake, and St. Mary's High School was your home. I just heard you guys talking about hardware.
They have a great program there.
You got some hardware. Yeah. Was that your senior year in high school? You guys won the state, and kind of interesting, Josh. In the few minutes that we had to chat while they switched mics and got some things set up for this, is that healthcare management is your major, and you were in on the ground floor of that new curriculum at Northwood University. Now you are in your senior year, and you're getting ready to launch into what the world has to offer to a Northwood grad. Just quickly, I'm going to go to the classroom. Coach will ask you a football question, but explain a little bit about your internship in Detroit and what healthcare management at Northwood has kind of opened a door for you.
Okay, well, I had some connections in Detroit. Meridian Healthcare, one of the highest ranked healthcare organizations in the Midwest. I was really interested in the quality control coordination, and I got an internship there. It was really nice. It was a great experience. Northwood really prepared me to go into that internship and perform well. I did some projects, some group projects, some expansion projects in Medicare, and it was cool. So.
Well, everybody needs that service at some point of our life, so I'm going to come see you. I just told you that earlier.
Yeah, what do you do in quality control in healthcare? I'm just curious.
Well, basically, when we're providing care to members, just making sure that the quality of care that we provide is at a high level, because that's really why I went
customer
to
service at the end of the day, right?
Yeah, customer service. So basically, I went into healthcare because I wanted to help people. That's the basic bottom line. So that was a great internship for me. So.
Outstanding. Well, I know you don't want to help those opposing offensive linemen on the football field, do you?
No.
Let's talk a little bit about football.
Anything but help them boys.
Tell us about your position. I mean, I know you're on the interior line. You're in a lot of times 3 technique, I'm guessing. I don't know. Tell us about technique. Tell us about what your responsibilities are in that interior defensive line.
Okay, well, basically, Coach Mack, my coach for however many years, 5 years I've been here, he's very sound on technique, punching with our hands, making sure that we defeat the double team, which basically just means, making sure that they stay on, that they have to stay on so they won't get to our linebackers. That's a big important factor playing defensive line, especially the 3 technique. That's pass rush, stay active with your hands. That's pretty much my job. So.
And tell the audience an even front versus an odd front. What's that mean?
An even front versus an odd front. I don't really use that terminology, but since
21st century.
I don't really know that. Basically,
well, 4 down linemen versus 3 down linemen.
Okay, yeah. So we do have a 3 down lineman package. It's Eagle, but we have 2 overhangs, and then it's 3 defensive linemen. One plays outside, both play outside, and one plays nose at 0 technique. So we control the center, make sure that we get a double team there as well. So.
One more quick one. I know, and maybe it's changed, but this week you're going to play a run dominant team.
Right.
So how do you prepare for that as a D lineman?
Basically, like I said, we have a big emphasis on double teams because they have a lot of big packages where they have double tight ends, multiple people coming through to block us and come through and block the linebackers. So right now it's just to make sure that we, stay 10 toes down and make sure that we, can control the double teams and stuff like that. Double teams is a big emphasis on this week, so.
Stay 10 toes down.
I know you're going to do a great job of it, too.
Yep. Stay 10 toes down. I like that right there. I might have a new explanation this winter when I don't slip and fall. I'm keeping 10 toes down. You are listed, Josh, and you're one of the big lads on the wood. But I notice week to week, you are outsized by height in almost every situation, some of these old linemen. Describe to me what it is a little bit. What's the mentality when you line up against this dude, this 6'4", 6'5", he's going 3.5, 350 pounds, and you're a nice sized guy. Matter of fact, you and Rich at this table, I'm the smallest guy at this table right now. But what goes, the last thing that goes before your through your mind at that point of the snap where you know you got to get through this? What's in front of you?
Well, it starts in practice, really.
Okay.
Our coach drives a mentality. Our defensive line coach drives, Coach Arnold installs a mentality. Coach Haynes installs this mentality that we're not afraid of anybody. So that just drives me throughout my whole entire career here. I've been 6'1" my whole time here, but I've never been back down from anybody.
No, you haven't.
D-line in general hasn't backed down from anybody, and that's our mentality every snap. Honestly, I think that being shorter helps us out on defensive line because you stay lower, and the low man wins in football. That's like the #1 rule. So that's our mentality.
At 6'1", you're the shorter guy. That's what amazes me. Go M.A.D. We got it coming up in a couple of weekends, November 1st. How are you going to participate? Because you've done it to date. Is that pretty fulfilling for a young lad like you who loves to help people?
Last year I think I helped at the school.
Okay.
I guess we was playing football with the kids, and then the year before that I was at the homeless shelter. So it's always a good thing to go out there and volunteer for Go M.A.D Day. That's pretty important, to coach Reitman, and important to us. So.
Well, what's interesting to me always is you guys are Go M.A.D on the football field every Saturday, regardless, because last week you're 0-7, this week you're 0-0, going up against Wayne, is that it's not just there you guys perform with that Go M.A.D mentality. It is what you're doing in the real world and what you're preparing to do, making a difference as you get ready to leave the hallowed hallways of Northwood University. You are always a pleasure. You're great to watch on Saturday. In 2020, me and Rich is going to have to come up with somebody else to talk about, because we're always calling your name because you make a mess of things.
And we're looking forward to calling it this weekend.
Yes,
number
we are.
93.
Yes, we are. And it's a home game, so you get to sleep in your own rack. You don't have to worry about a bus ride anywhere.
Right.
So good luck this next weekend, and good luck in the final push of 2019.
Appreciate it.
All right. Our special guest, our athlete, our defensive lineman, number 93, Josh Dabney. It is great to always bring these young men into here, so you get a chance to peek inside their world and the world that they're about to take on, which is yours. Northwood Replay, Coach E.J. Arnold. He'll be right back in the hot seat right after this word. Welcome back, everybody. Dale Robbins, Rich Violette, and Coach E.J. Arnold, associate coach of the Northwood Timberwolves. What we always do, and Len will tell you this, we show a little love to Dabs. Tell us a little bit about that senior leader on the defensive side of football.
I recruited Josh when he was coming out, and we battled with Grand Valley and Saginaw in recruiting him, and felt very fortunate to get him. He's persevered. I think that's the one word that comes to mind. He's battled through injuries, and when you're on the defensive line, you're going to get banged up and beat up a little bit, but he's persevered and battled throughout his whole career, and he's one of our great senior leaders, always has been. So we're going to enjoy this last month of having him involved with our football team and being a leader, and he's going to make a difference out in that healthcare management world. He really is.
Yeah, no wonder why he's going into healthcare. Huh?
Right. Why are always the warriors on the football field the softest spoken, kindest, gentlest guys you'll ever meet?
Exactly.
I mean, that I think helps tell the story of what you as a recruiting coach saw certainly in Josh, I would think, because he's a humble young fella.
Absolutely, he is, and recruiting him was easy. He's very personable.
Yep.
As quiet as he is, he had great questions. It was easy to tell in the recruiting process that he was somebody that we wanted around within our program. And Pat, was alive when we were recruiting him and stuff. So he's part of that last class that Pat had before he passed and everything. So this is a special group that is leaving that was under Pat's tutelage and whatnot coming in. Unfortunately, they didn't get to play for Pat and everything, but they hold a special place in all of our hearts, knowing that they have that connection to Coach Reitman and everything. And like you said, with Go M.A.D Day coming up, we definitely hold him heavy in our hearts.
You bet. Yep. You bet.
Coach, let's talk about Wayne State. Not a slouch coming in, 4-3 overall, 3-1 in the GLIAC. Played 4 nationally ranked teams so far this year. Played them tough. They have some weaknesses. At least on paper, they look like they have some weaknesses. What are the keys going into this game? What do we got to do well?
The thing I always think about when we play Wayne State is they're physical and they're aggressive. So I think, defensively, we have to stop the run. Last year, and we've told our guys this throughout the week to try and create a little bit of a chip on our shoulder, that they ran the ball on us pretty effectively on their way to beating us 55-21 last year in Detroit. So we have to stop the run. I think that's ultimately the most important thing, because they do play a old school smash mouth brand of
Do they
football.
still do that like double dive run? Or I remember when Joyce Bell used to play.
It's very much the same as what they have been. Coach Winters is a old school philosophy type of a guy, and he sticks to that run game. They do double tight ends, fullbacks, things like that you don't see a lot in modern day football. They stick to that, and they are going to run the ball to a fault, and we have to be able to stop that. We have to step up and be in the right gaps, but be aggressive and take on blocks. Defensively, they're uber aggressive. They blitz from all over the place. They'll play different fronts, different stunts with their defensive line and things like that. So our key on offense is to play with our eyes up, see what's coming in our gaps, control our gaps. We have to be more efficient in our pass game in terms of our completion percentage, and we have to take care of the football. And then on special teams, they've always been one of the teams I've always had a ton of respect for.
Well, I was going to ask you, their special teams is ranked again in the conference in block kicks and punts.
Absolutely.
6 and 3. So that's your
point of emphasis this week.
And
again, it's a challenge. It's definitely something that we show our guys. They know who they're going up against, and the challenge becomes, can we stop them? And that's how I've always approached it, is to not get overly concerned with the opponent, but to challenge our guys and see if we can live up to the challenge and have some fun along the way doing it. And our guys have had a good couple days of practice. We got to clean some things up today, which is what Thursdays are about, and hopefully this is our best Thursday yet.
Do they overload or do anything like that when they're getting these blocks?
Yeah,
Are they doing anything specific?
First of all, they have good aggressive talent with the places they've done it at. Their field goal block team is impressive. Number 97 and number 90, they're big D tackles inside. They'll overload some teams and get great penetration. So our field goal protection has got to get better in the game. So our get off times, when we talk about that all the time with Parker and Dimitri and Josh Adato, our snapper, have got to be on point. We can't have any poor snaps or anything. And then on the punt protection stuff, they just change things up every week. So we have to make sure that we're communicating where we're blocking, who we're blocking, protect our gaps and whatnot. And again, get off times are going to be important.
Okay. Coach, the all-time series, the Wood has a one-game win advantage. It's 20-19. Since 2014, you guys have won a game, lost a game, won a game, lost a game. Last year, down in Mother Nature's attitude, started in a reasonable night. All of a sudden, it began to rain. All of a sudden, the rain turned to snow. Yeah. All of a sudden, the snow turned back to rain. Took about an hour and a half to get the field, or at least the yard markers, cleared up. They are quick out of the chute, or at least they were. Last year they seemed to score early, and this year their defense is shut down in the fourth quarter, with the exception of Ashland last week. They do have a youngster who's been the defensive player of the week twice in a row, Eagleston, their DB, who's got some picks. So that matched with where Joey are coming up to and Nate's coming off from, there are some challenges on that side. But again, if Northwood plays Northwood football, then we've got us a good match at home.
Absolutely, and that was the message that I've been preaching to these guys all week, is Northwood controls Northwood. That's what we have to go into it with, that mindset. Again, wrapping up the Ferris week, where if we would have taken care of the ball better, limited the big plays, and executed, we'd have a better shot at the end of the day. And as long as Northwood controls Northwood, we feel like we have a great chance to go in there and get that first win of the season.
I'm sure time of possession is a big concern. They're number 1 in the conference. We're number 9 in the conference. They run the ball, so that's why their time of possession is up. So I'm sure you're all over that, and knowing that we got to stop this run.
Absolutely.
And get off the field.
Yeah, and the thing that we challenged, believe it or not, more than anything on Sunday when we got done with the Ferris stuff, was we challenged our scout team players that, hey, we know their offense is going to run the ball, so you guys on the scout team offensive line, you have to get after it this week, and they've stepped up to the challenge. And we've been a little bit more physical this week from what I've been able to see. There's been a little bit more pop and a little bit more energy from what I've been seeing and things of that nature. So our guys are stepping up to the challenge Tuesday, Wednesday. We have to carry it over into Saturday. That's ultimately the biggest challenge.
Sure.
But a lot of the time of possession stuff also means that our offense has to be efficient and take care of the football and not give them extra possessions and whatnot. And we have to get off the field on third down. There's no question about it.
Right. Well, that is as close of a look as we'll have at Wayne State until Saturday at 1 o'clock. And we invite everybody to campus. It is a home game for us as the Timberwolves defend on Family Day. and we should be packed, and a lot of young people activities coming by. They've got a lot of activities tied into the pregame with our tailgates and everything. We've been getting great turnouts this year with modification for game day. We'll be on WMPX 1490A. We'll be on 107.7 FM, and as always, live video and audio and stats will be at GoNorthwood.com. It's the Timberwolves and the Warriors of Wayne State University, and once again, keep the Haynes in your prayers. Keep the Arnolds in your prayers, because Coach E.J. is back on the sideline, and he's looking to bring home and reel that in, a win for the Wood in Family Day 2019 at Northwood University. For my partner, Rich Violette, and for Coach E.J. Arnold, my name's Dale Robbins. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you Saturday at the Wood.